Welcome to Unwinding with Support Group, a mental health podcast by licensed professionals where we discuss mental health topics from a real-world perspective, all while having a drink. So hang out, have some laughs, enjoy the ride, and maybe learn a bit. All right, welcome everybody to another episode of Unwinding with Support Group. Per usual, I'm Arlene and I'm an LPC. I am drinking my favorite. I know I've had a variety of different beverages lately, but I am back to my Flor de Moscato, my California Sweet, my standby salt of the earth. And with me today, I have Bree, who works in the mental health field. Bree, what you got today to drink?
I'm drinking another cherry Pepsi today.
Ooh, cherry Pepsi.
Yes.
All right. And I also have Kelly, who's an LPC. Kelly, what are you drinking now?
I have water and I have a fake sweet tea, the Mio squirt tea.
A fake sweet tea. I have a fake sweet tea, not a real one.
No, it's a fake one, and with some gin in it.
All right, perfect. I feel like you had to specify that because you are from the South.
Yeah,
that it is in fact safe. It's fake.
Yeah.
I feel like that was why it was the qualifier.
Yeah, that, and I'm not a sugar person.
Okay. I feel like that needs an unpack, but I'm not going to do it. I feel like you and your therapist could unpack the fact that you want sweet tea without the sweet. And I will tell you, there's a thing called unsweet tea.
Yes, that's where I go. I'm always ordering unsweet. And an aside, I went to California once and I found out that all tea there is unsweet, and I was like, oh.
My people.
Yeah, exactly.
That's hilarious. Just so you know, you and my husband will get along just fine. He hates sweet tea.
Love his heart.
He thinks it's like the bane of the planet.
Yeah.
And if somebody accidentally gives him sweet tea,
off with
it just ruins his whole day. I'll like go to McDonald's, I'll be like unsweetened tea, and I'll get home and I'll give it to him because I can't stand tea. So then he'll be like, and we're gonna die.
Rolling around on the floor.
It's like the expectation of unsweet tea, and then you get sweet tea, and
it's awful.
It's not great. I just watch his whole body just like have a mini seizure.
Mm-hmm.
It's not great.
I feel you, James. I feel you, man.
On that note, today's topic is non-compete clauses and non-solicitation clauses. And these are important because they do happen in the mental health field, but they also happen in a variety of other fields. And as most people are employees of someplace,
mm-hmm.
we should know how to navigate them, what they are, what the difference is, what we do with them. Do they have benefits for us? Or are they just benefits for our employers? We should know these things. Otherwise, it's just some bullshit thing you're signing at a job because you needed a job. And then you're like, what the fuck I do with this? So we should start with some basics of what a non-compete clause is, which is actually in its name. Really, it's an agreement in which you agree to not compete in the same type of employment with like a competitor or starting a similar business, usually for a specific duration of time from the type of like job or company that you're working with. Okay. So it limits you as the employee for job mobility, right? Now, a non-solicitation agreement, well, it's a clause technically, but is an agreement that prohibits you as the departing employee from poaching a company's clients, customers, staff, blah, 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 for a specific period of time. Again, so where one says you can't work with a competitor or start a business like the business, the other one says you can't take clients, customers, or staff basically intellectual property for both, but just different reasons and in different ways. That is the aspect of what those are. We can get into the minutia of both of those, but we'll start off with what both of those are. So, on that note, where we want to go from there, ladies?
Um, let's start with non-competes because they're very rarely enforceable as opposed to non-solicit. And the reason that it's harder to enforce a non-compete is because they tend to come with distance markers. So non-competes say within, I don't know, 25 feet of meow, 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 which with remote has become fairly obsolete. But back in the day when people were, I would say pre-COVID, when people were primarily, in physical offices, you couldn't work within so many range, a range of space between your place and their place. Um, and this is going to bleed over, I think, into both. And I've had reason to look into the which we'll get into, I'm sure. Um, and do the research on these over the past year. But it brings up a lot of ethical issues in regard to client autonomy. Um, but to backtrack just a second to enforceability, these vary by state. Both do non-competes and non-solicitation clauses, and each state has their own particular take on what they view as enforceable. So that's something to keep in mind when you are signing a contract with a particular company. A lot of people, especially right now, given that we are, in a recession and job market is not very, outstanding, will go through their paperwork and will just be like, oh my God, I'm happy to have a job, which, you know what, I'm guilty of myself. It's like, oh, fantastic, I have a job. And for our particular career, to have a job that offers you W-2 is sometimes utterly amazing. And embedded in those contracts sometimes are these clauses. And we often don't read them or we don't see them or we're just happy to sign the paperwork. And we can miss those. And
Yep.
so it really is based on the company. Do they put a non-compete? Do they put a non-solicitation?
Yeah. So I think you bring up valid points. Non-compete generally, well, they're both time limited. Please,
Mhm.
first know that.
Yes.
Um, and they generally 6 months to a year is the time limit for both. So they can't go on longer than a year. But the geographic scope of a non-compete has usually been specific city, county, or region where the restriction applies. So yeah, that's more brick and mortar.
Mhm.
And so in a virtual landscape, it would be very hard for a business whose headquarters are, say, in Chicago, um, to then say, Bree, as an employee in Colorado, that she cannot solicit or maintain, like, carry on business there, right? That would be a very difficult process because geographically they are located in a whole nother state.
Right.
So
Exactly.
they cannot enforce that. You also brought up specific states. So like California prohibits all non-compete clauses,
They do. That's a good point.
regardless of where the contract is signed. They don't give a flying fuck. North Dakota bans all of them except for the dissolution of a business. Oklahoma bans them with narrow exceptions, and that's been in place since 1890.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Where the wind goes sweeping over the plains.
Oklahoma has said fuck you to businesses for 100 years or more at this point. Anyways, Minnesota, since July of 2023, all non-compete agreements for employees and independent contractors are banned. Again, they've decided to fuck off. And Washington, D.C. has banned them all since 2022 for most employees. So, states like Colorado, in Bree's area, they have income thresholds. So you have to make over 127,000 for non-competes to be applicable. In Illinois, it's over 75,000 before they can be applicable. In the state of Washington, over 121,000. Arkansas bans them for physicians. So understanding that like each state has done this. In 2024, I was going to say last year, it's clearly not 2025 anymore. The FTC tried to ban all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And a court in Texas ruled they overreached. So here we are. Each state has to come up with their own bans on non-compete, which some of them have already been doing. So, Bree, you do not have to worry about a non-compete clause
Whew.
until you make $128,000 a year. So, the minute you do that, so like any day now, you're going to be there. I just want you to know.
Yeah, totally.
Any day now, when you hit that
Avery.
income marker, you'll then have to worry about it. But until then, you're good.
Hey, Bree, holla at your girl.
Right?
Bree's like, girl, I work 3 jobs.
Yeah, literally.
She said, I work 3 jobs. What do you mean? This is why she's gonna make that. Hello?
I know, right?
Bree hustles.
What can I say?
Any thoughts as why we're on this, Bree, on this part as we're talking about it?
Yeah, I think it's just an interesting kind of, I don't know, idea because a lot of times clients really become attached to their therapists, which is like good in a way, you know? You maybe not attached, maybe that's a bad word to use, but they become, they have that therapeutic relationship that's important to maintain and important to maintain to continue the recovery of whatever that they're going through. And limiting that, in my opinion, just kind of it puts a precedent to what you truly feel about your clients and like the people who are supporting your business if you don't want them to do what's best for their recovery of whatever that looks like, but their recovery. And yeah, it's just kind of a weird idea of why it would even be such a pushed upon thing.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. It makes it, we're gonna hit into a gray, the difference between a non-compete and then my ethical responsibility as a clinician. Okay? If I am no longer working at a place, or I'm not going to be working at a place, and my then to do what is therapeutically correct is to terminate my relationship with my client. Okay, let's say, Bree, that's you. What's the first thing you're going to say to me when I tell you I'm leaving this company?
Well, what company are you going to?
And there it is. I don't have to solicit you. You're going to ask. If we have a good therapeutic relationship, those are the first fucking words out of your mouth.
Absolutely. Every
I've been
time.
that patient where my therapist is leaving a company and I'm like, whoa, 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 wait a minute, where are we going? Because I'm coming with.
It's where we going?
Where we
Girl,
going?
where we going? Like,
Mhm.
I don't have to solicit you. You're going to nah, bitch. Nah, bitch.
Uh-huh.
How I need to stalk you. Like, and then to have, then you feel like as the clinician, you are now in some weird fucking bullshit place, and now I need to lie to my client? I've
Yeah.
never lied to them to this point, and now I need to? Oh, that doesn't sit good with me.
Well, it's unethical.
Correct. Like it, and that's why it doesn't sit well, right?
Yes.
I'm not
And,
going to actively say, "Hey, come with me," but you've already said you're going to.
and now we're bleeding over into the non-solicitation.
We are, because they're both going to go, because they both come together, especially in our field.
Mm-hmm.
Because if, as Bree said, you've built a good therapeutic relationship, your client is committed to you, not the agency.
Yes.
And
And
they will follow you to hell.
Blindly.
one thing that I've learned about non-solicitations, and this is where it gets hinky, is that with the difference between non-solicitation and non-compete is that non-solicitation is more about protecting the business than it is the client. They don't want, it's about the business aspect. We don't want to lose
The
revenue.
business, the money.
Exactly. And again, it goes back to different states and so on and so forth. So let's go back to Illinois for a second.
Yes. Let's talk
Um,
about good old Illinois.
I know that in Illinois, for a non-solicitation to be upheld, you have to work for that company for at least 2 years. If you don't work for the company for at least 2 years, then it's probably not going to be able to be upheld. But the other thing that any company has to do is to be able to provide proof that, you know, that you solicited your clients. And so I guess that would be a good place to start. What is solicitation?
Why did my brain just go wrong?
Because that is where, I mean, it's basically what we're talking about here.
Listen,
Like,
why
hey,
did my brain just go, what is solicitation? Well, it's
let
the
me show
oldest
you.
profession in the world.
I'm going to show you therapy cane cool.
It's the oldest profession in the world. And unless it's human trafficking or coercion, I don't give a fuck. How about that? How about that?
Right?
Okay, cool. We're sex positive.
I can't believe I just said therapy cane cool. But
Yeah, you did.
I
Yes, you
did.
did. Which I think that's a new term.
Every week I'm coming with the new terms here. Um, Lord,
We are gonna need a podcast dictionary
I
by the
know.
time we're done.
But let's so let's define the terms here because they are broad and they vary, of course, by state, but it basically says we cannot tell you where we are going. Hence the question, where are we going? Can't tell you. So how do you get around it? Because that's the immediate question. Can
Yeah,
clients find you on their own? Yes,
yes, correct.
absolutely.
Clients can find you on their own. I cannot tell you specifically where I'm going. However, I can't stop you from finding me.
Nope.
And these days, with the internet, finding you is not going to be hard.
Listen, Google.
So companies get a
Google is your friend if you really want to find your therapist once they've left the company.
GPT probably knows where we all are too.
I think ChatGPT knows where I am right now.
Literally.
Also, please don't use ChatGPT.
But also written into a lot of these non-solicitation agreements is a clause that says you cannot work with the same people that you've been working with for at least a certain amount of time, which takes away from client autonomy.
Yeah, and that is some bullshit because, again, it's because agencies in the mental health field know clients build therapeutic relationships with, as Bree said, the therapist.
Yes.
They connect with the therapist, they stay for the therapist, and they will leave for the therapist.
Mm-hmm.
They will also leave because of a therapist. And I mean that because the therapist is shit. Like, so understanding that like either thing is possible. So to put that in there is you acknowledging that you only have the revenue because of the therapist.
Mhm. So here's where it gets kinky, in my opinion. If you were a smaller business, then your revenue arguably could take a hit. Sure.
Yeah.
If you are a larger business, you lose a therapist, you are not losing revenue. If you
Okay.
are bringing therapists in,
Right. You're going to have turnover. You're
Mhm.
going to have client turnover because it's the nature of the beast. But
Sure.
that's also if you're a smaller agency too. Client turnover is a name of the game. It's like, it's that way if you have a private practice. Client turnover is the name of the game.
Yeah,
Your revenue fluctuates.
right. That's true. People come,
It
people go.
fluctuates at specific times of the year. We all know that. Sun's out, I'm cured.
Hmm.
New start of the year, my insurance deductible reset. Sorry, I can't afford you.
That's true too.
Okay. Right. Oh, the holidays are tougher. It's winter. I really need therapy.
Mhm.
Like, it doesn't matter whether you are one person, 7 people, or 700 people. The revenue fluctuates anyway.
So let me ask you, let's look at it for a second from free, if you don't mind. Can I borrow you for a second to be a client?
Yeah, that's my basically my life anyway, so it's fine.
Oh, honey, mine too. Trust me, I got my own therapist too, babe.
I love it. She's like, that's basically I live for this role. Hollywood, she's waiting.
And Red Bull, I'm serious. I'm coming for you for her with that blueberry.
I swear to God, summer is around the corner.
Um,
And where's my blueberry Red Bull?
Swear to God.
hashtag Red Bull. Um, your therapist messages you, "Hey, sorry, I'm leaving." You're like, "Where we're going? Can't tell you." And then you get a message that says abruptly, all they say is, "We're going to terminate. I'm leaving in a month. Make sure that we will terminate. We'll figure something out, transfer you over." And then all of a sudden you get a message very abruptly that your therapist has just suddenly departed. How would you feel about that
Abandoned.
event?
Like someone took all my ooh, sorry, my cats are going crazy. Like someone took all of my secrets and just ran with them.
Listen, I just need to identify for a minute that she said abandon and her cats flipped the fuck out. You think
They're
that's
like,
it?
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa, whoa, mom said she's abandoned. I'm coming for fucking somebody.
It was
Yeah.
socks too, so you know it was she was
Oh,
on one.
oh,
She was
she
ready.
was. She was like, who fucking abandoned my mom? Bitch,
It's
I'm gonna kill
serious here.
somebody.
It's serious.
Shit. That got
That,
real quick.
damn right it did, because that's a really serious word in our career. Abandonment is a serious word.
It is. It is. And that's how clients feel whenever that happens.
Yes. So this leads to two things in with non-solicitation and non-compete clauses. It leads to client abandonment, the feeling of client abandonment with our clients, but it also leads to the perception of us abandoning them, which could lead to us being held accountable for something that we did not do.
Yeah, that's true. Because client abandonment is a thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
And it's a serious thing.
it is.
And I like, Bree, that you mentioned like somebody took all of my secrets and ran with them.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like as a patient, you're not thinking that this is a business because realistically, healthcare should not be a business. Um, but unfortunately, it's the world we live in. So that is what it is. But as a patient, you're not remembering that this is a business that has to run and employees have to get paid because you're just a patient. You've just formed this relationship and this person you can trust. And having that being taken away from you, especially when it's something abrupt and you didn't have time to kind of prepare for and have an exit session and that sort of thing, like it can be really disruptive to just the general feeling of wanting to go to therapy. So in the end, I mean, I don't think that businesses are really onto something with this, because a lot of times you've damaged the relationship that that person has with therapy as a whole, and they're not going to trust another therapist the same way that they trusted the one that they had before.
No, like coming to therapy, whether you've done therapy 7 times or 1 time or 27 times, every time you reopen the door and are vulnerable with a new person, it's hard, right? As a therapist, I never take that lightly. And so then to forcibly have those relationships ripped away from me, and then to not be able to terminate them effectively, to not be able to ensure my clients are okay and well, is not okay. But it's also like, it's the most unethical thing a company can do, right? Like I know companies that give therapists 30 days notice when they're going to fire them. Do you know why?
Termination.
Termination and documentation. Hey, listen, this really just isn't working out. A, B, C, and D are problems. Here's your 30-day termination. You will be getting no new clients. You're going to take this 30 days to set the existing clients up for transfer, blah, blah, blah. But this is what you got. That is the most ethical, responsible way to do it.
I agree. I mean, and it also gives the therapist time to find other placement.
Nobody gets fucked at that position.
No.
The company has 30 days to ensure their clients are taken care of.
Yes.
So they're not scrambling because they just ripped off a fucking 50 fucking clients from a therapist. And now they're potentially losing these clients, because if you terminate immediately, that's probably what's going to happen, because they will fall through the cracks. You will lose them because they're going to be pissy because, like as Bree said, someone took their secrets and ran. That's what it feels like. Or like, but also they get appropriate therapeutic termination. And you're right, it gives the therapist time to find another job. Everybody wins here. And it's ethical. That's not hard.
No, it's not. But that is the difference between a company that values ethical patient care versus monetary compensation. When I was working for a place and I was on my way out, I ended up being let go sooner than my resignation because my people weren't transferring in-house. And it was blamed on me. I hadn't done anything. They just didn't want to continue, which was their right as human beings. But they just abruptly cut me off and caused a tidal wave of pain that I ended up finding out about much later down the line when people found me, which was their right. They searched me out. They found me. Um, and a lot of them were traumatized by that.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to close out relationships. I didn't get to close out. I still had notes that were open that needed to be closed. So I don't know what happened to those. I was, pulled out of a session in the middle of a session, and it was just a mess.
Yeah.
And so be it. But that was just how that ran. And it kind of illustrates the difference between the two, which is patient awareness and ethical treatment versus moving people through for financial reasons. Come to find out, when they were fine, as people, it died down after a while. But people were being harassed by text messages and phone calls and the such. Then I'm sure that the people who were calling were forced to be doing what they were doing, or like that's their job. Like sign up, sign up, sign up, sign up, sign up. And this is not what healthcare is meant to be. Healthcare is meant to be a place where, you feel safe coming. You feel safe signing up. You feel safe and not forced. You feel safe, like, hey, here I am coming to you with these issues. And then I meet this person, or, and I'm comfortable with them. And if they're leaving, then I should be able to go with them, or I should be able to have a choice.
Well, and I think that's just it. I should be able to have a choice. If I'm the consumer, if I'm the client, if I'm the patient, you label me whatever you want.
Right.
If I'm paying for services, I should have a choice. I should be able to follow Bree to her new location, or stay if I like the company that much.
Precisely. My choice. My body, my choice.
My therapy, my choice.
My brain, my choice. I
want Bree to be my therapist. I've decided.
Oh boy.
Aww.
We're both gonna need some help after that.
Oh, I don't know.
Bree, you'd make an excellent therapist. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, thank you.
She'd be like, if you don't get your fucking shit together, I'd be like, all right, you're right. I do need to get my shit together.
What are you making today?
What am I making today?
Yeah.
It's let me see if I can pick it up. It's still a little hot. It's
A
a calla lily from my mom.
Oh,
I procrastinated it.
One of my favorites.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Yeah. Thank you.
I know that, and I'm going to segue for a second because it reminded me, where I'm from, back in my hometown of Tri-Cities.
I really thought she was going to be like, back in my day.
No. Oh, Lord, don't date me.
Back in my day.
We walked uphill both ways in the snow, carrying.
And dead me to snow both ways. We didn't even have GPS.
I know, we ate salt, Peter, or whatever it was. I don't know. Salt tack.
We had to use paper maps.
I did use a paper map once.
I mean, same.
But
I had to print out my directions.
MapQuest. Rest in peace. Rip. But no, like
MapQuest is dead?
It doesn't have to be.
I thought you meant like the website didn't exist anymore.
No, we can bring it back.
Oh, okay, good. I was worried.
Like MySpace still exists.
Yeah, it does.
That's also not dead.
Poor Tom. He was so much better than Zook. But anyway.
That's big facts. Big fucking facts.
Right?
We could sidebar about what happened today in court on big tech.
Oh, yeah, that went bad for them. But the doctors at a local gyno office were able to tell their patients where they were going. They weren't given the opportunity, so they printed out a piece of paper with their numbers on it, and they were like, call us. And they put it on the door and they were like, this is ridiculous. You didn't give us the choice or the chance to tell our patients where we're going to be. The patients were like, what? Because they closed the doors. And the doctors were like, no, this is not how we do this. Our patients want to continue care with us. Boom. And it doesn't flow that way in that particular branch of the medical field. So why is there such a distinction between
Because
certain fields?
we are the redheaded stepchild of the medical field,
And that's what I have to say
of
about
the
that.
healthcare field, I should say. We are the redheaded stepchild. They're like, oh, those guys? All right, we'll let them come to the party, I guess.
That's lame.
You know. Look, I think you're right of like a non-solicitation clause is more enforceable than a non-compete clause, but it does have to be provable.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be provable that you poached, that you solicited,
HIPAA plays a
and that they didn't find you autonomously, that they didn't generically, organically seek you out.
and that they're on your caseload. And HIPAA plays a role in this too.
Right. And so they would then have to prove you see them in a new location, which I don't know how any of that occurs. Are they going to prove that you told them you went to a new job? Okay, that doesn't mean I told them to come with me. That doesn't mean I said, here's my number. Call me maybe. That happened. That happened. Well, that was good, wasn't it?
It was good. It really
That was
was.
good.
That was good.
And like none of that happened. Like you can't prove that. Just because I told them I'm going to work over here at Joe Schmo's therapy practice doesn't mean I said, come with me.
No, I was no. I was threatened once and they tried to tell me that I had a list and I was like, I don't have a list. I don't know what you're talking
You would
about.
also have to prove that I have a list.
That's what I said. And I was like, I don't have a list. Leave me alone. I don't have a list because I
Prove
didn't have
it.
a list.
Prove I have one.
They couldn't because I didn't. I had a cease and desist order sent to me.
Okay, prove I have a list.
It was just a lot of stuff and it felt very personal and I'm like, you all calm down.
I just like I'm saying, like prove I have a list.
And I mention this because for the professionals out there, I really want to offer this from my experiences. Breathe. The burden of proof is on the company.
Yep.
And if you have done nothing wrong, you have done nothing wrong. That's all there is to it. The burden of proof is on them. And that is the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary.
That's the end. That's the big. It's like they have to prove innocent until proven guilty.
Mm-hmm.
They have to prove you have done something wrong. And that is the important part. And again, we're back to client autonomy,
Yes.
especially in our field, right? But also if you're not in our field, right? Recognizing like what some of these mean.
Mm-hmm.
And while this economy might be sketchy and getting sketchier by the day, having employment is important, and I'm not going to pretend it's not. You might just be like, "Fuck it, I'm signing this because I need to eat. I'm not going to be mad at you for it. Do what you got to do." Recognizing that what these mean and what they are. You are much more likely these days to run into non-solicitation agreements than non-compete due to the virtue of a virtual landscape, they are becoming non-competes just obsolete due to tech.
I was about to ask you about that.
Um, that's not that they don't exist. Please don't, they're not just like gone. They're just becoming more obsolete because I can hire you in California and my home base could be in Iowa. And therefore I can't have one anyways. I mean, if you're in California, they don't care regardless, but you get my drift. Um, a non-compete is going to be useless. So just recognizing like the virtual landscape changes a non-compete dramatically because it's geographically based. And when my home base is in one state, I can't say you cannot then do this in another state. You are not my direct competition. The law hasn't caught up in a way to be able to say we're a global community that way to say you can't compete in another state. And I would say they would have a hard time pushing that into a non-compete just based on the virtual global atmosphere that we live in right now.
No, I agree. And as far as non-solicitation goes, I think that, and while it all depends on the particular court, state, judge, a
Hokey
lot of,
pokey that you do.
right, exactly. Turn yourself around. Um, a lot of the research that I've done seems to show that the court tends to err on the side of client autonomy versus big corporation because big corporations aren't losing funding. They still have funding coming in, so the revenue isn't being hit by the loss of a singular person. I can't say that 100%, but that's just the research that I've done.
Well, I think a business is going to be a hard press to say, I lost one whole person.
I know, like 13, 14, 15, 20 people.
I now am not getting $5,000.
Oh dear.
The cost it took me, I'm not getting what it cost to pay the person I fired.
Exactly.
Oh,
The
shut up
retainer.
then. Man, stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up.
And
Rich people problems.
amen. Honestly, I fully look for these to become more and more obsolete as we go forward. I hope.
I don't know. Businesses are I'm not sure about that. I think when we're looking at AI and tech stuff, I think the proprietary stuff is going to stay under non-compete, non-solicitation stuff. I think they will live under non-solicitation with intellectual properties. That's where I think we're going to see them live in more of like that avenue. Like you can't solicit staff. You can't solicit this versus like in our field. I think it will phase out, which I think should be, but I think it's going to be like very specific, high tech, like specific people skill sets.
No, I could see that.
That's where I think it will still stay relevant because then it gives companies an edge. You can't take these people. If you leave, you can't take these people with you to start your own business.
Well, that makes sense. Software.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I think that will stay, especially as we move more into like a drone, forest, tech, AI, like realm, robotics shit. That's where I think that will live a little bit more.
But people like me and you and Bree who are out
Don't do
there,
that.
we're out there exactly every day working, with people. We create on the fly, but we're not creating tech. We are creating information that is individually based to help people in the moment.
I want you to know you cannot solicit my brain.
No. Mm-mm.
That's where the solicitation clause. You can't solicit my brain.
Yeah.
It's my intellectual property. Can't have it.
No. But right now, it's kind of what they're
It's
saying.
free to the masses right now.
Ooh.
Oh no. Brie is concentrating so hard right now.
The cowl is so pretty.
It really is. I just looked down and she is like so into it.
It takes a lot for my eyes to like focus on it when it's so close, but I can't see it well enough when it's far away. So I gotta like
So intense. I just looked down and she's like, "Meow."
I love the fact too that when we started, it was daylight and now it's dark there.
I know, the sun goes down so fast. It's so sad. I was just thinking that though. And it's funny you say that because I like looked at myself in the little viewfinder thing and I was like, "Oh, it's dark outside."
Stupid. Some point we'll do this and it'll still be light for all of us.
Oh, I know, in a couple months.
It'll be great.
It's almost
Can't wait.
April, my birthday month. Woo!
Happy early birthday.
Thanks. It's
Bree,
soon.
Bree, any final thoughts on this while you're very into your Lily?
Yeah, I just think that companies should realize what they're truly doing to people. And I understand that businesses are businesses and you need things to run. But in reality, you should hope that your business is running off of a model where you're not terminating a lot of people and a lot of people aren't quitting on you. And if your business is running in that model, then you don't have things to worry about because you're not rapidly losing people. And if your business is rapidly losing people, then maybe it's time to look at what's causing people to rapidly be lost, as opposed to immediately blaming the therapist for stealing your supposed clients. Because in reality, a lot of times clients, like you said, they're not married to the company, they're married to the therapist, and they want to continue doing what's working for them. A lot of times, if you just met with a therapist one or two times, you're not going to care that they leave. But when you've met with someone continuously for months and months or years, you're going to care when they leave. And you having a company kind of make you feel bad for that is, again, it's just tarnishing the relationship with therapy and reminding clients that they're just dollar signs, they're not clients. And that is very harmful, just as a whole.
And I feel like that's where we're ending because I could not have said that shit any better.
Same.
Thanks, guys.
On that note, I appreciate you guys being here with me tonight.
Of course.
Always.
And as for our listeners, I appreciate you guys always hanging out. Give us a like, a follow, a share. If you know anybody who's currently struggling with any of the topics above, a non-compete, a non-solicitation. We talk about this because we have also had these in our profession. That's why we talked about it. But also because they're important. They're important issues that come up in employment. So, but give us a share, give us a like, follow, comment. We'd like to know, what do you guys like the show? I mean, maybe, I don't know. I'd like to know these things. I feel like maybe you do, but I don't know.
Comment. I love
Maybe.
comments.
Regardless, thanks for hanging out for another show. And we will see you guys later.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Unwinding with Support Group. Follow us on Substack. Give us a like, a follow. Give us a comment. Tell us what you hated, what you like, what you want us to talk about next. Let everybody know where they can find us too. But thanks for hanging out with us once again.